teams. Hey, my name is John Stevens, and my wife and I were sitting down talking, and we decided that we needed to get the guys on and tell some stories, and we needed to start basically a Zoom call like this and get a chance for guys on the team to tell the stories, because I really think that our stories are important, not only to our nutritional side of the house and trying to get more information on getting better, getting faster, getting stronger, building that community, but also when it comes to if our wives are out there sharing the business, or if we're sharing the business, it's cool to see the stories of other guys so that we can send it out to somebody and they know that, hey, there's a doctor, there's a nutritionist, there's a guy that is a froyo mogul in Bend, Oregon, who loves frozen yogurt, and there's a Marine officer, an Army officer, across the board. We have so many people that we're tied to in this group that are just amazing, amazing people. And so, we thought it would be pretty cool if we got together and did this. So we invited 3 gentlemen to talk besides myself tonight. You're going to hear from a doctor who's been doing Isagenix for 3 years. Him and his wife became millionaires with the business just this past year, and he's starting to do some long distance endurance sports. Pretty cool perspective from the medical side of the house. We've also got one of the guys that I've been friends with before we started doing Isagenix, Tyler Dickerhoof, who comes and is a nutrition geek. I'll just say that right now. Sorry, Tyler, that's probably not what you'd like to say, but I know he is, man. He loves this stuff. He lives for it. And so he knows the ins and outs too, and he's got a good perspective because he's a gym owner and he's a business owner and he's an entrepreneur, and so he's got a cool perspective. And then the last guy we'll talk to is the froyo mogul, the mogul of froyo, I like to call him. Him and his brother-in-law and their wives are small business owners in Bend, Oregon, and he's just an awesome representation of the entrepreneurial spirit. Plus, he's got amazing physical transformation stuff. And so these 3 guys beside myself are going to come here tonight. We're going to just talk on several topics, and what we'll do is we'll record this. You guys can send it out. If you find somebody you're talking to and you want to say, hey man, listen to this video, here's these perspectives. That's what we're looking to do. And then we're looking to maybe do this more than once, okay? We want to get a periodical, maybe once every couple weeks, we get somebody on there to talk and share their story. So I'll start with mine real quick. I had, just talking nutrition-wise, I was told to take some shakes and like it about 3 plus almost 4 years ago. And I did, and it turned out pretty well. I will tell you this though, I was a Marine officer who was getting ready to deploy. It was a fast tempo deployment. We were trying to figure out what the heck was going on. It was going to be a training team somewhere, and I was sitting behind a computer a lot doing planning. You know how it is sometimes when you get that good food, you're picking up whatever you can, the cheap stuff like that. And the problem with that was I was not maximizing. Oh, let me move it away real quick. There we go. I wasn't maximizing what I should have been doing with nutrition. I was just trying to get by each day. Well, I started taking the Isagenix shakes, and I started doing a couple of fast days, and wow, it changed my life. This nutrition was convenient. It was balanced. It's what I needed. It filled those times where I needed something where I couldn't get away. I'd take a shake and I'd keep going. I was taking e-shots, and it kind of got me through that period to where I was in the fastest paced time of my life. I deployed. Eventually it was Kuwait, and eventually into Iraq. And I used this nutrition when we didn't have a chow hall in Iraq. It was basically MREs. And if you've ever had an MRE, it's 2,000 calories of processed whatever so that it can withstand, with the cockroaches, a nuclear blast, well, whatever. I was taking my shakes. I was taking my Onyx because it was a stressful job. And I was staying above ground with this nutrition, and it was keeping me going. And I got to tell you, I don't know what would have happened to me physically had I not been using this nutrition. So convenient and balanced, and it got me through those deployments. At that time, I was about 37 years old, and I tell you what, I was introduced to the AMP products. I think Tyler may have got me on some AMP products, and I will tell you what, at 37 years old, after taking those AMP products, the pre, the post workout, I ran my fastest physical fitness test since I was 24 years old. So the proof was in the pudding for me that the nutrition and then the AMP products that went with it, with working out, totally changed my nutritional life. Now, having retired from the Marine Corps, I take this stuff every day, multiple products. And when I work out, I'm a firm believer in the pre and the post workout with the Nox, the Ionics, and just throwing the kitchen sink on my body when I'm done. And I'm putting on some lean mass. I did a IsoBody challenge where I actually went down 5 percentage points in body fat, but only lost 2 pounds. Totally transformed the way I looked, and I love it. And so that's where I am nutritionally, and these guys will get into a little bit more of that stuff in a moment. But that's my nutrition story. On the financial side, the first thing that my wife and I wanted to do was get our products paid for. You know, instead of spending all my money at one of those larger places where you have to pay a membership to get in and take a tub home that tastes awesome, but it may not be good for you. I redirected that money into Isagenix products, and then we started getting it paid for because my wife was being consistent with the business and she started to share. And so first off, we got it paid for. And there's guys out there that, you know, you're like, I don't know. If anything else, you get this product paid for, life's good. You're winning. You're winning. It's that good a product. Then we started to do it to take the money that we were making from the business and have it so we weren't living paycheck to paycheck and going into debt. So we were plugging the hole of debt coming into our household. And you guys that are in those positions know, or you've been in and you've corrected that, you know how, you know, freeing that is. The next step after that, we basically then started paying down our debt. And we paid down the debt, and I know my wife, I saw it on Facebook because she posted on Facebook when I was deployed that basically she had went ahead and paid off our van, and it was our last thing that we owed when it came to a debt. Credit cards were gone. She went ahead and wrote a check to the credit union, and we were debt free. And so pretty freeing moment. And now we're saving, we're investing and stuff like that. And it starts in those steps. So what I would say to you guys out there, wherever you're at with this and your wife is with this business, there are certain steps, and I've been in all of them. And I'll tell you right now, if you can get your products paid for, boom, you're winning. There can be so much more too. And so we've really been blessed by this business opportunity. We've been blessed physically because this is such a good product. And then we've taken advantage of the business opportunity, and my wife and I have run with it. And this is it. This is what we do. And we love it because we get to hang out and talk to guys like you, and we get to go to Celebration in a couple of days and see some like-minded entrepreneurial people that want to be in good shape and care about their health. And so we're excited where we are now, and we're excited to help anybody. And I'm excited especially to help the guys, and that's why we're doing this tonight. So that's my story from John Stevens. But now we've got 3 guys that are just amazing and have amazing stories. The one that's coming up next, it's my honor to introduce a guy that I knew well before Isagenix. He was at my wedding. He's a doctor. Him and his wife, like I said, just became Isagenix Millionaires. And he is an endurance athlete. And so he's got a cool perspective from both the athletic side, the knowledge as a doctor. And Cory Hoffbuhr, man, welcome. Man, I appreciate you taking your time out. I know you don't have a lot of time outside of work, but thanks, man, and I appreciate you coming tonight.
Yeah, of course, John. Thanks for the intro. So, all right. So we've been with Isagenix for about 3 years now, and I have to say, I think my story was pretty similar to everybody else, every husband out there whose wives started in this mysterious world of Isagenix and network marketing. I was so negative, so unsupportive. I didn't understand it. I had, my nose stuck up as a physician thinking like all this stuff is just total bogus. And that's where I started. I didn't have an open mind at all. I was skeptical about the products, about the business model, everything. So a couple of weeks into it, Lindsay's using the products, doing her first 30-day system, and she's feeling great and just loving life. So I grabbed the ingredients from the Ionics, and I grabbed, because the Ionics is supposed to decrease stress and all these things that to me just seemed like a bunch of nonsense. So I started looking up ingredients on PubMed, which is, the central clearinghouse for medical literature. And sure enough, like ashwagandha root extract and, all of these herbs that I couldn't pronounce, there's a ton of literature out there for doing exactly what they say they're doing. And it's true for all of the products. And I think that right there was a turning point for me. Like it made me open my eyes and think, well, maybe actually there's something to this stuff. Not to mention everybody who starts it says they feel fantastic. So after a couple of months, I agreed to do a 30-day system myself. Now, it was really amazing to me because sure enough, a couple of weeks later, I don't even think it was a couple of weeks, it was probably less than a week later, I wake up one morning and just like, I feel like everybody has this experience. You wake up and you're like, man, I don't know what it is, but I feel great. I never really had weight to lose. That wasn't a goal for me. But I just felt great and I was busy and the convenience of everything was just, it was a game changer for me. My breakfast used to be scrambling three eggs in the morning with some spinach and, cutting up some peppers, things like that, which switching to just making a shake in the morning and getting out the door in time to make it to the gym at 5 was huge. It saved so much time for me. So intermittent fasting. So now I'm doing the 30-day system and you get to your first fasting day or cleanse day. And I was pretty nervous for it. I was surprised at how easy it was. And same thing, I started doing research on intermittent fasting. And I tell you, it is amazing the literature that's out there and how well intermittent fasting works compared to just calorie restriction when you're on a diet or trying to lose weight. Now, I say trying to lose weight, but that's not everything. There's so much more with intermittent fasting. You have to, there's benefits for bodybuilders. There's benefits for endurance athletes. Pretty much anybody can benefit from intermittent fasting. So it was just amazing to me that everything was there. It was the whole package. It had a great weight loss solution. It had a great solution for athletes. It was all there. And that's kind of when I was all in. One thing, if you guys want to know more about intermittent fasting, a great documentary, if you want to read it, by a guy named Dr. Michael Mosley. The documentary is called Eat Fast and Live Longer. And I'm pretty sure you can stream it on Netflix. And if you can't, I know YouTube has like a blurry, kind of crummy quality version of it, but it's about an hour long. And it explains why intermittent fasting is so incredible for everybody. Okay, so like John said, I'm a physician. I started out in the Navy as a dive medical officer. Sounds super cool, but really I just sat there and took care of people and their everyday problems. I advised thousands of patients on how to lose weight because, as anyone in the military knows, making weight during your PRT is very important. And so every time, every cycle would come up and I'd be trying to get these guys to lose weight. The bottom line is weight loss is really hard. It takes a lot of commitment and it takes a lot of willpower. And what I've seen with Isagenix and the people who we've helped lose weight is when you're doing intermittent fasting, it's a total game changer because you're not depriving yourself every single day. You're not counting calories every single day. You're following a system. Your two of your meals are easy to make and they're there and they taste good. And then on your fasting day, it's one day and everybody can get through it. And the second day really isn't that hard after you've done the first day. So I just wish that I knew about this and that I had this as an option when I was in the military, because I think it would have been a game changer. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the media these days, fasting has become kind of trendy. It's kind of become, you'll see every week a different news outlet picks up an article about fasting and does it work and what's it all about? And, think about this. Isagenix has been doing weight loss, utilizing intermittent fasting for 15 years. It's just getting trendy. I mean, they've really figured it out. And the people who I talk to who have tried fasting diets that are not the Isagenix system, they find it really hard because it's a lot of time goes by during the day when you're not eating or putting anything in your mouth. And that's difficult. It's difficult psychologically. You don't necessarily feel hungry, but you're just dying to eat. So, what Isagenix has figured out is by introducing you to, or giving you a little bit to eat 4 times throughout the day, it really kind of takes those cravings away and it makes it so much easier. Okay, so John mentioned I just did a half Ironman. I don't know that I would say I'm a experienced endurance athlete. I've done 1 marathon, 1 Ironman or half Ironman, and I'm doing a marathon. I'm starting to train for a marathon in December. But what I can say is this. When you're doing endurance training, nutrition timing is everything. I don't know if you guys have heard of bonking or hitting a wall, where you just literally you run out of glycogen. You have no more fuel left for your muscles, and you're done. You can't recover from it. What Isagenix has done for me is it really gives you a nice system. So you have pre-workout, you have the Amped products, you have Amped Power, and you have Nox. Both of those products are fantastic, not only for endurance, but they're also great for weightlifting or just, people who are going out to play a pickup game of basketball or soccer. The next thing during your workout, something to continue to fuel your body, there's e-shots with caffeine. That was everything. In the several triathlons I did leading up to the half Ironman, I'd always put an e-shot in my shoe. So I was in my running shoe. So when I'm going from the bike to the run, I slide my shoes on, I grab that e-shot, and I take off running, and I throw back the e-shot. And that caffeine in there, plus the adaptogens, it really gave you a boost. Just a couple minutes later, you were feeling pretty good. The other thing that Isagenix has is all the Recover stuff. So they have the Amped Recover, and then the IsoPro to get a little more protein in your diet. So what I can say is Isagenix was great for me because it provided sort of the complete system that I needed. I wasn't going, to the nutrition store and buying this and that, and it had everything, and it all worked well. I will say this, when you're doing long stuff, 2+ hours of endurance training, when you're using Gatorade or when you're using stuff that's meant for shorter intervals, it tends to fall a little bit short. And there's a lot more specialized stuff out there that helps in the really long endurance stuff. And what I used was Shot Blocks made by Cliff Bar, and then this stuff called Scratch, which was an electrolyte powder that you could mix in your drink. And it was funny, when we were at Top Achievers, I was talking to Dr. Paul Arcero, our chief science officer, and I was telling him that exact thing. I said, look, and he's a former professional triathlete, and he totally agreed. And he said, that is exactly why they brought me on, because we need to develop products exactly like that, which gave me so much confidence, even more confidence in the company and what they're doing and what their vision is, because they see exactly the holes in their product line, and they're actively working to fill them. And so I just thought that was so cool that he knew exactly what I was talking about, that the really long endurance stuff, you need a different formulation. And they said that they're already working on it. Okay, so what Isagenix has done for our family. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I can say what it's done for Lindsay is she runs a business now. And the confidence and the education and just the motivation to help other people every single day is just amazing. What she gets to do every day, it just blows my mind. And it's noticeable how unbelievably fulfilled she is in doing this job. And, one of the best parts is the flexibility. Lindsay's an optometrist. She left her job as an optometrist to pursue this full-time after doing the business for about a year. And I have to say that I guess I didn't really appreciate when both of us are working and have schedules that it's very difficult to cancel, and the kids get sick. The scramble in the morning when you wake up with a sick kid and both of us have patients, it's the worst feeling, because then you're deciding who gets to screw your patients over for the day and stay home. Just the flexibility this has given us has just been absolutely everything. And not only that, but it gives me flexibility to not have to work full time. So I'm cutting back to 50% actually in December, which I can't wait for, to pursue other things, to actually be here for the morning routine with Lindsay. And, just to experience life more and not just work, and just be a slave in the hospital. So that's my story. That's what I have to say. I'm a huge believer. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. If you're a guy watching this and you have not done a 30-day system and you've just drank the shakes, because like John said, you're going to drink them and you're going to like it. If you have not done a 30-day system, do it. Just do it. Order it, do a 30-day system, do the fasting days, and just see how amazing you're going to feel. You can be as skeptical as you want. Just try it, because I guarantee you're going to be surprised. Okay, next. I am done. I've already gone over my time. So I'm introducing Tyler Dickerhoof. So Tyler is on this call the godfather of this entire movement and this team that is here. Tyler, like John said, he's actually a former dairy cow nutritionist, and I think he still does a little on the side. An entrepreneur, had his own consulting business in the dairy cow industry and was working his tail off. He's a fitness junkie. He's a gym owner. They are a top 10 income earner in the company out of 600,000 associates. And they have a lot of numbers and titles after their name, which I won't go over. But bottom line is, he's a big deal. And it doesn't matter how you measure a man. If you measure a man by their success, if you measure it by how genuine and nice they are, or the size of their biceps, Tyler matches up. He's an awesome guy. So Tyler, take it away.
Oh, wow, Cory. Thank you. So funny story. I was listening to sports radio today, and they were comparing LeBron James to the Godfather. And so I was actually thinking about that. I kind of am the Godfather to this crew. And John and I go way back. We met here in Spokane. Our wives had met, and that's brought all of these people. So I want to say one other thing. Burke, we are. You're still below us. So go Bucks, Penn State. Sorry, dude. Sorry. But go Big Ten. I think that'll fire up a lot of guys. That's okay. That's all right. We'll see what happens late in the season. So Cory said my background. John mentioned it. I'm a nutrition geek. I love nutrition. First started with cows. I started being actively involved in nutrition when I was 12, 13 years old. My dad was a nutritionist for dairy cows, and he said, hey, do you want to look into this? Do you want to, put together diets for cows? I, being a learner, someone who loved the challenge, absolutely. And so then I decided, there's Samir. Then I decided when I went to college, I wanted to pursue a career in dairy nutrition. All right, so that gave me a background interest. Professionally, was a nutritionist for 13 years. And so, jump ahead, introduced to Isagenix. And when Kelly was introduced to Isagenix, she, like a lot of other people, said, hey, let me show this to my husband. That was partly a cop-out that, if she decided not to do it, she could blame me. But it was also, she understood I was into nutrition. And as much as I was into nutrition, I really probably didn't put as much effort into understanding human nutrition in regards to what I was putting in my body at that point. We had little kids, and I was a busy business owner. I understood nutrition, but yet it really was hard to do anything from a human point of view. And enter Isagenix. I took a look at the products. I'm like, oh, this stuff is good. One, dairy background, grew up on a dairy farm. It better have whey in it. And if you're trying to build muscle, unless you have an absolute intolerance to whey, you're wasting your time. Luckily, Isagenix has a dairy-free product that matches the amino acid supply. So it's the only dairy-free product out there. It's the only one. Only market available dairy-free product that matches the amino acids is whey 100%. And so it was whey protein, phenomenal. And when I looked at Ionic Supreme and saw all the adaptogens, and I was like, what's interesting about that is I was using some of those ingredients, chromium specifically, in diets that I was doing for cows. Let me give you guys a little snapshot. Cory mentioned Dr. Paul Arcero. Dr. Paul and I have got to be very good friends. We've gotten to spend a lot of time together. We chat often. And as I kind of was talking to him and I rationalized and understood, it's like, how people are going about human nutrition is where animal nutrition was 50, 60 years ago. Dead serious, guys. Believe it or not, it is. Why? Because it's really hard to tell people exactly what to eat and have them follow through. A cow, a pig, a chicken, they don't have a choice. So you can study it a lot. And there's a lot of money to be had from a health point of view, from a profitability point of view, in studying nutrition for animals. And so when I finally understood that and appreciated that, I looked at myself and said, all right, what am I doing nutritionally in my body? And, Isagenix said, use the products. It was great from an ease point of view. It was great from an ease point of view because I had a busy, okay, there we go. Back at it. I had a busy career. I was traveling 1 week a month. I could care less about food. I'm not a foodie. Make it simple, make it easy. I can eat the same thing every single day, and I still do. And that's where Isagenix was a phenomenal tool for me. Use the products, absolutely love the products, but I never really took it to the level of what can I challenge myself to be. So a couple years ago, part of being a business owner, part of seeing a gym, part of wanting to challenge myself as I got older and older, I was like, what can I do with this? Cory mentioned intermittent fasting. When we were first introduced to Isagenix, Kelly was introduced to the products. I wanted to have nothing to do with it. I was like, how am I supposed to build muscle if I stop eating? And so I did a little research. I actually saw a Tim Ferriss podcast, saw his kind of case study in regards to how guy put on 20 pounds of muscle in 28 days. And a major component of that was intermittent fasting. My own experience, I saw when I used intermittent fasting, whatever weight I lost in a 2-day period, I'd put on as muscle over the next week to 10 days. Dead serious, it did it. I only did that 2 days a month because I was stubborn. So 3 years ago, again, challenged myself. I decided, hey, I'm going to fast 1 day a week. I am going to dial in the products. I'm going to use MyFitnessPal, and Isagenix is wonderful. So when I mentioned earlier about cows being so far advanced nutritionally, one of the biggest things is when I would do a diet, put together a diet for a cow, I would sample every single ingredient to know what's in it. When's the last time you sampled the food before you put it in your mouth? Analyzed to see what nutrients are in there. You didn't. All the SG100 products, they did. And so what benefit that allows is that such a stable, you know what the nutrients are in it, that it makes the rest of your diet a lot easier. And I am all about having a balanced diet, balanced macronutrients. Isagenix is balanced. The shakes, Isoline shakes are 40, 40, 20, 40 protein, 40 carbs, 20 fat. I recommend a lot of other people 40, 30, 30, 40 protein, 40 carbohydrates, 30 protein, 30 fat. And there's variations there. Everyone's a little different. I have a little bit higher muscle mass. I need a little bit more carbohydrates because I have an additional glycogen demand. And because of that, I'm 45, 35, 20. All right, those are all numbers, and the key is stay consistent, utilize the tools. Isagenix helps make it easy. From a gym point of view, as a gym owner, dude, that's phenomenal. People walk in all the day. We're going through a period right now where I just started a couple weeks ago when I threw it out in Gladiator Fuel in regards to IsoBody Challenge. We're starting an IsoBody Challenge group through our gym. And all the time people are like, I want to lose weight. Okay, great. How are you going to do that? Well, I want to lose 5 pounds over the next month. Man, that's sad that that's all you want to do, because I've seen people routinely lose 15, 20 pounds a month and do it healthfully with Isagenix. And so let's take your goals up a notch, because you can do that, but you got to do it nutritionally. And I made a comment to somebody, I've never, ever, ever seen somebody come into a gym and lose 20 pounds a month and be healthy. And I've seen a lot of people do that with Isagenix in a month and be completely healthy. And so the caveat that brings to a gym owner is now you can give people a tool to help them at home, because that's what's most difficult. What they're doing in the gym is easy. When they're at home, the other 23 hours a day, that's when they're killing themselves, either not resting, whatever they're eating. And so with that, that's where Isagenix can be a great tool for gym owner. It's simple. It's all put together. You're not creating a meal plan. You're not sending people out. You have a platform. You can cater it to their needs. In regards to a gym owner as well, the opportunity for additional income. So let me talk about the income piece. Cory mentioned it. Yes, we're a top 10 income earner. It's not something that I think Kelly and I run around with a torch and say, look at us, look at us, look at us. The amazing thing is all of you people on here are on here for a reason, and it's because Isagenix has probably been a piece and part to your life, and that's something that is a major blessing to us. So each dollar that we receive each week just means that there's thousands of lives that have been impacted, and that's cool because I worked in an industry before that I wasn't appreciated. People don't appreciate agriculture in this country, whether you believe it or not. We don't. We go to the grocery store, expect our food, and we don't want to have to smell cows. We don't want to have to see farmers, and we wish they didn't exist. And that's reality. And as a service provider in agriculture, I felt that all too much. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating always be to blame in an industry that's struggling. And now I get to be involved in an industry that continues to support agriculture and do so and bless my family and give me opportunities. You know, like Cory mentioned, he gets to, scale back his schedule. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. I was traveling 1 week a month away from my family. Now I get to work that hard because I want to. I get to do other businesses. I get to look at other opportunities, open a gym, be involved in real estate. We have commercial real estate business properties for our gyms, looking at other ventures. That's all been allowed to us by Isagenix. And I'm going to, real quick before I kick it over to Keith, I want to throw one last thing is to really say all about Isagenix. I'm all about Isagenix. I live and breathe the business. I die hard about nutrition. It fits a passion of mine. You heard Cory earlier, and it really fits a passion of his because as a physician, he likes to help people. Knowing John, it fits a passion of his because he likes to be around people and, help people. In reality, this business, you have to want to help people to really say, I want to grind in this business, be involved in it. But it doesn't mean that you can't support other people. You can't support your spouse. You can't give them the opportunities to open up doors for your family by supporting them. And supporting them could be like, absolutely, I pat you on the back, here, go, let's do this. Supporting them can mean going to events. It can mean, getting on a webinar like this. It can mean I want to love and share the products with people, whatever fits for you. Just figure out what works for you. Some people it's a passion, other people it's not. And so with that, it's a passion for me. And it's a passion because it's opened up so many doors for our family, so many opportunities that 10 years ago, I never would have believed would be there. So that's my quick little story. The next guy I get to introduce, here's a snippet of what is most amazing to me in Isagenix, is the people you get to meet and how awesome and cool they are. And, I've gotten to know Keith over the last couple of years. I love seeing his latest little ventures with solar because he's a geek. He's a straight geek, and he got it honest because he was a math teacher. And he as well has started other businesses, and he as well has been in other business, and he's going to share a lot of heartaches that I've had from a business point of view where Isagenix is different. He and his wife have been very successful in Isagenix, have absolutely been a major cog into the Bend, Oregon train. And it's my pleasure to introduce Keith Clayton, the mogul of Cup of Yo, frozen yogurt kingpin. That's how I want to describe you, kingpin. I almost want to go watch the movie now. Is that fair?
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, anything's fair, whatever. Yeah. Cory and Tyler, John, it was fun just hearing what you guys had to say. I really appreciate all you guys' insight. I'm going to still end this at 6:40. I got 6 minutes to put the most talkative guy at the end because it forces him to be succinct. So like John said, product-wise, this will be really brief. When you own a frozen yogurt store or 2 or 3, like my brother-in-law, Matt, so a lot of you guys know Matt Gilstrap. He is the Froyo mogul, and I'm the mogul of Froyo, I guess, is what these guys have decided to call us. And then our 2 wives, I definitely ate the most candy and frozen yogurt and toppings out of anybody that worked at the stores. So I was somewhat healthy before, but definitely after a few years of frozen yogurt shop owning, eating all those calories and sugar, not so healthy. Isagenix definitely like very much transformed my body type. Definitely never had as much muscle as I do now. It's a nice feeling. Way leaner than I've ever been. I still eat a lot of frozen yogurt. I still binge on the candy sometimes, but it's definitely taught me just kind of like nutritionally how to operate. Love intermittent fasting. It's like Cory was talking about. It's a part of my life I'll always have. So yeah, that's really just a really quick and dirty product story. The products are amazing. You all know that. All the guys explained all that. So I just wanted to focus on 5 aspects. A lot of you guys probably are business owners or have opened businesses or multiple times. One thing about businesses is almost all businesses require a pretty significant startup. There are some major bottom line costs involved with any business. I mean, you know, rent for a space, paying employees. There's just lots and lots of overhead. So with of us starting using the Isagenix products and kind of exploring with a lot of one of those many people that had a lot of myths and misconceptions in my head about network marketing in general and how to see it work. It was super helpful to see Lindsay Hoffbuhr, who we went to high school with, Laura Stevens and John. Laura's from Central Oregon where we live and where we grew up. I mean, all that success from those guys, that's pretty telling. You know, we knew these are super legit people. They come from super legit families. They're high character people. If these ladies and their husbands are doing this well in this business, it's completely worth looking into. And then of course, as we dived in, it was like, what? This is a business that you can do with zero overhead other than just the food you eat. So you're eating your overhead. That's incredible. I mean, that is phenomenally fascinating from a small business owner standpoint. You know, you guys who've owned businesses, employees are wonderful. They're necessary. They allow you to not be at your business all the time. But employees are really tough. Just today, like a ton of our stuff this summer right now, and we had a crazy busy day, and I forgot to have somebody do something at our shop, a second person help, and Melissa gave me a dirty look and was like, I'm going down to give our manager a lunch. And you know, it's that kind of stuff that when you own a small business, it happens no matter what. So with Isagenix, you don't have employees, you know, you have a team, and your team is not accountable to you necessarily, but you can encourage each other and inspire each other and run together. And all of that is fantastic. It's such a different relationship than the idea of boss and employee, because that doesn't exist here. Like, I love the fact that what Melissa and I do helps Lindsay and Katie, Noah and Laura and the Dickerhoofs. Like, I love that. But, you know, says we're not their employees. Like, the idea of that, and same with our team, you know, none of them work for us. It's just the synergy. I love that. Let me take a few minutes and just break into some percentages here, and then I'll be done. I was really blown away when I heard that the residual income piece, the cycles, the long money that people earn through Isagenix was 6%. That to me is incredible. I cannot think of another industry where you're getting 6% on, you know, any order anybody does. And so one day I was just being a nerd and writing out the numbers. And so that 6% applies to the business volume piece. If you just look at the straight cash that people are spending to feel really good putting these amazing nutritional products in their bodies, that's a 4%. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me that 4% of every dollar spent by anybody in our entire team of people, you know, just by the binary balance of the situation becomes income. That is crazy. And as a team grows from 200 to 1,000, 2,000, or however big it gets, that is just exponentially powerful. So compared to Cup of Yo, the only way to take a frozen yogurt mini empire and blow it up into something fantastic is to continue opening stores. And every single store takes a huge amount of capital just to start it. And then you have all the operations, costs, and headache, and time-consuming worries, and all that. So the thing is, Matt and Stephanie, Melissa and I, we would never go that direction at this point. Now that we know about Isagenix, now that we know there's a no overhead business that is a completely limitless. I mean, of course, we're pouring almost all of our energy into our Isagenix teams because it's a phenomenal opportunity. So hopefully there's a few of you guys on this call that are like, wow, I've never thought of it that way. But it's the truth. I mean, all three of the guys who spoke before me would echo those thoughts. They're just maybe not approaching it from such a nerdy standpoint. So thanks for your time, you guys. It's really an honor to just be included in this with these other three gentlemen. So have a great night.
Thank you, Keith, so much. This is Laura. I know this is supposed to be a male-only call, but I had to jump on real quick. John is jumping on another call for a board he's a part of. So you guys, we appreciate you taking the time tonight. There will be a recording for this, so it will be available for you to share. There are other men in your life that you feel could be blessed by all this information. We would just ask that you pass this on. We want this to be a resource for you and future people on your team or people that you speak to help them see that Isagenix truly is an opportunity that can be life-changing. And we're excited to continue to help so many more men eat fast and live longer and just feel wonderful, be able to contribute to their families and beyond. So thank you so much. We're excited to see many of you this weekend, and have a great evening. Thanks for joining us.